Hey everybody, welcome to J&J on Jazz, powered by JAZZWIRE. This is my friend James. He's wearing a hoodie.
Yeah, you too. Nice pajamas, Jeff.
I shouldn't have stood up. Yeah, you saw. All right, everybody. So we want to talk. Yeah, I know. Too much information. We want to talk about storytelling or motivic playing, or is it important to tell a story when we're playing jazz? This is a fascinating topic to me, and this is one of 4 workshops. I'm doing 4 workshops online, 4 Thursdays in a row. This particular one is going to be on April 7th, 2022. And all these workshops are for only 15 participants. You can attend from anywhere on earth because it's on Zoom. So if you go to this address here, you can sign up for the workshop. It's $35 or $120 for all 4 workshops. And there's a lot of handouts and PDF stuff like that. And we have a PDF for today's session, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But James, I want to get your take on this. Some people spend a lot of time talking about how we have to tell a story when we're playing music. But then I listen to Charlie Parker. I mean, I hear him talking. I hear him telling a story. But is it referring back to itself? Is it this amazing motivic development thing? Not sure. What do you think?
So is your question to me, is it important to tell a story?
I guess. Yeah.
Cool.
What's your take on this? What do you think?
No.
Okay, video over, huh?
It is important to tell a story. But I find that in my students and in me, if I'm overthinking that, I get vapor lock. I think the language of this music, if you are immersed in the language, the melodic and harmonic and rhythmic language of this music, I think if you really are immersed in it, there are sort of stories built into the way we play, right? So I don't know that it's something that people should think about too much, but I think what we should be working on is something that one of my old teachers, Curtis Johnson, used to say. In his playing, he wanted unity and variety at the same time. So I'm going to play a line or two, just a couple of 8-bar phrases. I play in E flat a lot, so I should play in C right now. And I'm not going to really overly think about trying to be motivic or develop anything in terms of a story. But what I am going to do is I'm really going to try to play simply and be very deliberate for the first couple of phrases and see where that takes me. This could be totally terrible. All right. So I was, I don't know, did any of that sound thematic, motivic? Did it sound like it was, and if it didn't, you could say, no, that's fine too.
No, I mean, it sounded like a story. Like there were moments where it was, where I could hear an idea repeated, but it had this great forward sense, forward momentum. The story was developing. It didn't keep stopping and going back to some previous thing. So, man, that was super successful.
So then I think the advice I have for players that are trying to have more of this in their playing is be in the moment of your own playing, right? Just always want to be listening to the other musicians. You don't want to just fixate on yourself. We don't want to be narcissists when we play jazz, but listen to yourself and be in the moment of your own playing. And I think for me, that's how I find myself connecting with the idea that my solos should have some sort of a theme. So I'm really curious to hear how you approach it, because a lot of times we approach things so differently, and that's what I love about when we do these together.
Yeah, I want to circle back on a trumpet player saying we're not supposed to be narcissists. That was fascinating and bizarre. I've never heard that before.
Well, I mean, I tell you what, I'm really, I say a lot of profound things.
Yeah, that was deep. It was also BS. Okay, moving on. So, yes, I love motivic playing. I love music where I can tell that it's sort of spinning out from itself. But the reality is that is not a lot of the bebop we hear. So it is possible to do fantastic through composed music. I hear Charlie Parker playing little things that refer to itself and great voice leading. But as far as like an idea that he spins out for 16 measures, no, I don't hear Sonny Stitt doing that. We may hear Monk doing it a little bit more, right? But so I loved your example because that had a beautiful internal logic to it, but it was hard to sort of point at, oh, here was a moment and here was another moment.
Okay, cool.
But I really do dig hearing both. So for me, the PDF that's up on the screen right now, I entitled "The World's Shortest Lick." So let me play this lick here for you. So it's in the key of C. Thank you very much. So essentially a lower, oh, it's gone, man. That was it. You missed it. You blinked. So essentially a note, I was going to say a chord tone, a note and a lower neighbor. Something like that. Now my sticky G sharp key, there we go. Do you have a sticky G sharp key on that thing? You should get one because it's great for an excuse when you mess up. Oh yeah, my sticky G sharp key. Yeah, you'll notice that sax players blame their G sharp key when they miss a C sharp too. That's just kind of a thing. Yeah, notice that. So this idea of this short little lick. So short is good. When you want to be motivic, if you do want to try to develop an idea, developing a lick that's 17 notes long, how the heck are you going to develop that? It's too long. You can't even remember it. How do you, it's like you're walking around a shopping mall with a canoe on your head. Like you can't, I don't know where that image came from, but like you turn around and you knock over 11 people. You can't do it. It's too big. It's unwieldy. Little canoe analogy. Dude, I'm from Western Canada. What do you expect? All I know is moose and canoes, man. That's all I got.
This must be a Canadian thing, man.
Oh God. Okay, enough. So a little idea is something we can develop. When Beethoven wrote da 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 da, that's an idea that we can now spin out for a long time, right? A short idea that's almost seemingly worthless. It's not even good enough to be called an idea. That interval that he wrote. Yeah. Yet what you do with it is the fun part, right? So this is sort of a fun exercise. And again, I'd love to send you this PDF. Write us at JandJonJazz@gmail.com. I'm happy to send this out. And again, the workshop I'm going to be doing, 75-minute workshop, is on a bunch of techniques for this kind of playing. So if I play through a chorus of C concert blues and use this idea, now, I'll probably overuse it and it'll be a little much, but the question is, can you hear it when it's in there? So let me give this a try. So 1, 2.
That's just actually really slick.
Just that short little bit. So sometimes I would hit the note, go down, come back to the note. Sometimes I would start below. Something like that. So a short idea that we could barely call an idea, but it's small enough that I can move it around. I can remember it in the next measure. So it's a fun way to practice. And overdo it. Like, was that a good solo? No. You and I are doing a gig together coming up in Pittsburgh, actually, which I'm excited about. Would I have played that at the gig? Probably not. but I'll practice it at home and really overdo that idea so that when I come to see you, it's right there for me.
Yeah, Jeff, I think what's cool about you talking about like practicing a concept like this, like you said, it might not be a thing you play in a solo on a gig, but overemphasizing this in your practicing, it's not that dissimilar from what I talked about in the last episode with articulation and time and groove. Like in our practicing, we should be overemphasizing these sorts of things. So we have access to the skill and the ability to deploy these sorts of things. So like your little idea, what was it? Was that it? Like,
yep, chord tone down a half step.
Like,
yeah.
I don't even know if I could, that's your little nugget, and I don't know if I could play a chorus of C blues like that. But I know I'm going to be practicing it now to see if I can. So. That was total BS. I was not happy with that at all. But the fact that it gets me just that little bit out of my comfort zone, now I want to walk around my house and just trying to make sense out of that that little neighbor tone thing. That's so slick.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. And so I work with folks a lot. And again, the workshop that we have coming up on April 7th, we're going to come up with ideas like this and a number of others to really give you tangible ways to work on this concept. And it's cool. And does it have to be that half step thing? No, any idea. And again, James probably has a couple that are more under his fingers or things that he's used. But the idea of the shorter the lick, the better, because it makes it easy to manipulate and move from this chord to that chord or this sound to that sound, fits on the horn well. So yeah, that's cool. And I love the idea that this is not a necessity, right? Like I'd really encourage people to think of some of their favorite players, favorite soloists, and listen to 16 measures and be honest with yourself. How many of those 16 measures had this moment that just got repeated and developed 5, 6, 7, 16 times? Mm-hmm. You're not going to hear that a lot, right? There are players. Sonny Rollins is famous for that. I love a more contemporary player named Donnie McCaslin. Donnie, I love Donnie's playing because he just keeps these ideas going. But I'm going to say that's more the exception than the rule.
I agree with you.
I value this in my playing, so I develop it. I like to talk to my students about it, but also give them this, this understanding that it's not this colossal necessity. We don't need to be thinking 16 measures ahead. That's not how I play. Yeah.
Dig it. That's good. Well, it's
sound good?
Yeah, I love it. That's great, Jeff. Great practical advice for people to think through. Write us write us here at this email address, and we'll be happy to send you that PDF that Jeff's created. And again, get inside JAZZWIRE, because this is the sort of thing that working with a coach and a teacher like Jeff can really help you sort through how these little sorts of devices in your practicing can give you big gains down the road. So I really encourage everyone to check out what's happening inside JAZZWIRE and connect with Jeff, because I learned so much from our time together in these episodes. So if I'm learning this much, it's going to be great for everybody.
Oh, me too. James, thank you, brother. Take care. Have a great week.
All right. See you guys.